Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike, and robot fans alike, and people with far too much money to spend on things that they don't really need. I'm joking, I'm being facetious. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the time-traveling toy collector, and as you can probably tell, this is the Robosen, which is a robot company, fully robotized Optimus Prime. Now, you've probably seen a variety of videos on this, but I'm going to do a bit of a different staged one. This is part of my final trilogy covering my 200th video. 200th video on YouTube, so this is actually 201. But I just want to take every stage of the unboxing separately. This is the outer box, and frankly, folks, I think it looks amazing. They've got wonderful detailing all around the outside. You don't need to see the postage details. Yeah, the back's the same as the front, but you know, this is beautiful. It's beautiful packaging, and what lies within is, frankly, more beautiful packaging. So bear with me 2 seconds, and I shall whop it out. Okay, so consider it whopped out. This is the top, and you can see it's got some quite lovely reflective writing on it. We'll come down to the front, and there's the main event. Some really lovely box art of Optimus Prime in his robot mode, chugging along towards us. Transformers Optimus Prime. This is the Elite edition, because I don't have any. I couldn't have afforded the flagship edition, and I certainly wouldn't have had anywhere to store it on a permanent basis. So this is the Elite version, which some of you will be aware I managed to pick up at London Film and Comic Con. That is the sticker. It's an Autobot logo to keep the thing sealed. Voice activated. Some of you'll already probably know a lot of this because there have been a lot of reviews. And again, this isn't so much a review of the product, although obviously we're going to look at the product. This is Transformers, again, in that lovely reflective stuff. This is more my experience of the figure, my appreciation of the figure, and then some thoughts around it. Not least a plea to Robosen that you do give us a trailer, because they've done a trailer for the flagship, the gymongous flagship Optimus Prime. So please, those of us who've gone for the Elite version, please let's have an in-scale Elite trailer. That's my opening plea. Okay, so there's this box. We then open this one up. So as I say, it's quite a bit of a staged process, and inside we have still got the wrapper on the handle, because I'm like that. The next phase of the unboxing. So bear with me, and I'll get this out for you next. So here we are at the next phase, and I'll pull out. You can see this is the Robosen, very posh looking. It's a sort of polystyrene case, but it's quite robust. It's got a handle at the top, as you can see there. It's got catches that are built in on both sides to facilitate easy access. And this is embossed on the front. It's very nice. It makes you think it's very expensive. There's a reason for that. It's because it's very expensive. There's nothing on the back, as you can see. But there is all of this going on the front. I'll just very quickly do an apology in case sound quality varies. Because of the size of it and certain current circumstances, I am operating sort of a handheld and not in my usual review station, which I will get to imminently, but I wanted to give you this experience first. So if we pop the catches, and I wanted a space where I can move around, so I'm hoping the sound quality is okay. If it's a bit intermittent, apologies. Normal service will be resumed. The last few have been quite, by necessity, have been quite in hand for a lot of it. So apologies where sound quality hasn't been what you might be accustomed to. So have I opened both sides? I thought I had. Yes, I have. So give it a bit of a wedge, and dun 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 dun. We're inside the box. You get a power cable here, as you would hope. I say that, it's not always a given these days with products. There isn't always a power cable. We've got this absolutely... Oh, we've got that. Let's do it this way. We've got this, which is the instruction booklet. It reminds me of an iPhone because you've got all of these things tucked away in this envelope. So it's got a bit of that sort of... It's so classy. I mean, it really is classy. But you have paid for it to be classy. This is not, I repeat, not a cheap product. So bear that in mind. This is going back in the slot. I'll lift this out because it does... I can do it one-handed. It's not very heavy. It's quite light. I don't know if I can do the next bit one-handed, but I'll try. But inside... Please let me do it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I can. I love this. I think the quality is brilliant. Inside we have one Energon axe for attaching to Optimus Prime, and one photon cannon for being wielded by Optimus Prime. Nice colour match on the plastic there around the lens of the weapon. Very nice. And they get their own little box, which is absolutely adorable. And I'm not being facetious, I love that. Pop that there. Then we have this thing, more on that in a moment. We also have separately the USB connector chart for should you want to charge it differently or use the data upload and uplink. And we also have stored away in this little compartment the stacks, the stacks. Now, you've probably seen in other people's videos, because I don't think for a second this is the first video you've watched on this, but his servos are loose. Because he's currently sitting in the box, his servos are loose, so he flops about a bit, and we've all been there. So I'm going to take him out, transfer to my regular station, and we'll resume from there. So in true time-travelling toy collector style, don't touch that dial. And here we go. He is now out of the box. And before we do anything else, I just wanted to say he is beautiful. I mean, it's undeniably a masterpiece in terms of engineering, in terms of where we are in terms of modern robotics, in terms of Transformers history in the making, if you like. It is amazing, and I'm going to just basically start by saying I picked this up because it was In Demand Toys were selling them. They only had a couple left at London Film and Comic Con, and once you see it in real life, you kind of need to have it. It's like an addiction. It's you just have to have it. I wish there was some other way of describing it. Do I need it? Of course not. It is not something I need in my life. It's very, very expensive. It's the cost of a holiday. Let's be very, very clear. This is the cost. This costs a holiday. As I'm not gone on holiday, I've purchased this instead. So this is absolutely next level considered purchase. And I'm very aware that we've just seen a flagship scale Grimlock, self-transforming Grimlock released or on pre-order, and some of the samples are already out with reviewers, and I had to stop myself trying to find A, the money, and B, the excuses to purchase it, because I know it's in flagship scale, so it would make it even bigger than this. But you kind of want to have it. You kind of feel like this is all my childhood dreams coming true. And you know what? It kind of is. But you know what? You need to eat, and you need to have, able to get to work if you're fortunate enough to be in work. And this is the kind of thing that I once. Well, I personally didn't. But I was once present when a friend of mine bought a second-hand car, a real second-hand car, for less than I paid for this. And that's the reality of this. You can see it's a little bit floppy. The servos are relaxed because Optimus is off, and that's nice because it doesn't waste energy keeping itself active when he doesn't need to. It's very easy to turn on, which we'll do in a minute. Now, to be absolutely clear, I'm not going to go through all the various things he does. I'm not going to take you through the app and show you how it works. There are people who've done that and they do wonderful reviews, and by all means go and have a look at those. I'm not offended. This is more just sort of a reality check around this. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing really negative to say about it. My heart is in my mouth every time he transforms, because I'm convinced this is the time he's going to face plant and shatter into a million very expensive pieces. So far, obviously, that hasn't happened, and touch wood, it never will. But that's just me and my psychological trauma about breaking Transformers, particularly expensive ones, and I don't think I will ever own, apart from possibly Grimlock when I give in, a more expensive Transformer than this. And I hope I don't, because it's madness. But we'll start him up, and then I'm going to show you something. So it takes a moment.
Greetings.
Here it goes.
I am Optimus Prime.
And that's just him setting himself up, and now he's ready to go. And we have the lovely headlights. We also have the rear lights here that are boosting out of his back lights. And what I wanted to show you was just for because this is the elite class, and which is pretty hefty, but not as big as the flagship class, which I couldn't touch it. But here he is next to a figure that I've recently looked at on the channel, which is Return of the Beasts Optimus Prime, from Buzzworthy Bumblebee range. So this will give you a sense of exactly the type of scaling we're dealing with here. That's this figure. This is this figure. Okay. Now, I don't normally do comparisons, but this felt like it was screaming out to be done. So done it has been. Just so that I can really convey to you the size of this beast. So thank you, Rise of the Beast Optimus. So this is beautiful. So he's now quite solid, quite robust, and you can pick him up and everything pretty much stays where it needs to. The detailing is excellent. These are, as you saw earlier, attach on. He's got the Autobot insignia here. He's got chrome oil barrels there. The wheels are, I'm pretty sure they're a very robust rubber tyre. They're quite, because he's automated and everything is servos, you can turn them manually, but they are quite stiff, which is good because then he doesn't sort of wander off and do his own thing. Let's bring him to the front so you can get a really good look at this. And I'll try and tilt that slightly for you. We have lovely traditional Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
There you go. When I say his name, he wakes up and recognises that I am now talking to him. You're probably aware you can do voice commands and you can do the app. The app is brilliant. It's very good for the remote control driving of the truck. I'm not going to show you that because I think we've all know what remote control driving of a truck looks like. And also his braking takes a little bit of work, so I have a limited amount of space to show you this stuff, so I don't really want to risk him flying off into the air doing his Smokey and the Bandit job. I'll also just do a quick disclaimer as a copyright. It's Peter Cullen's voice. There is some supporting music at times. I don't always know when it's going to play on some of the voice clips when he does stuff, which we will run through some of those just so you can get a sense of it. But I don't own that copyright. It's owned presumably by Hasbro and Robosen. I've got no power over it playing, so a complete clarification of copyright ownership there. It's not mine, it's theirs. But this is just to show off their product. So if it lends insight into you purchasing it from them, then hopefully they won't mind. He is consistent in his build all the way around. He's very strong. I mean, he looks beautiful. Let me show you. He holds together really well, and there are the you can see there the backlights, and I have done this deliberately because those of you who've watched other videos on this know why I've turned him round. This is quite a nice base, actually. You can put stuff, you know, I could even put Baby Optimus on there if needed. I won't, because that's crazy. But you could, and I think that's a nice thing to acknowledge. So let's get to the main event, shall we? And let's see if we can make this go without a hitch. I'm not sure how this will play out, but let's find out together. Hey Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Transform. Yes, folks, he just did that. He just did that all by himself. So let me just readjust this slightly, and I'll bring him a bit closer so he doesn't send anything flying. Yeah, he's still quite tall, isn't he? So let's go all the way up and meet him. Now, look at that head sculpt and those lovely illuminated blue eyes. Fantastic. You'll see that he's actually breathing. You can see that his arms are going in and out as he breathes. I have to say, as a robot design, it's a really solid Optimus Prime. I mean, there's no two ways about it. This is a phenomenal figure. And of course, it's more than just a phenomenal figure, because it's a phenomenal self-working figure. There's a couple of features that aren't as fantastic as I think we might want to think they are. So we can be quite realistic about that. And that's his walking. The driving in the vehicle mode, fantastic. Walking, not so much. But I will show you the reverse transformation and a really cool thing that happens when he does that. I think it's really cool anyway. But yeah, from a robot form, he does have this panel on the back of his head. I believe it's removable. I haven't removed it because I don't want to. It would probably look better without it, but I'm not fiddling with it at this juncture. You can see all the points of articulation. There is light bleeding through his... Yeah, if he stands around for a while, he gets bored and entertains himself and starts dabbing. Or, for those of you familiar with an old UK entertainment artist, Bruce Forsyth, he's doing a bit of a nice to see you nice pose, but I think it's actually more dabbing. But yeah, how cool is this? And oh, sorry, I'm so nervous of touching him. So he's got, as you can see there, waist articulation. There are servos literally all over the place. Ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, biceps. Everything here moves and reacts appropriately. Hey Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Megatron.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
So you see, he's very responsive to voice commands. He really is, and it's an absolute joy to behold. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Apologies if sound is a little bit hit and miss. It's purely because I'm having to move myself around and the camera around to stay on him, because he is so gigantic. Again, just for frame of reference, here is Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime in vehicle mode, and yeah, you can see the difference. So this is a big old guy, so I have to be a bit responsive to how I get him captured on film for you. I'm going to see if I can somehow do it a little bit more statically while I talk to some of the other features, or at least show you some of the other features. So we'll see what we can do with that in a second. No, it doesn't seem like that's a viable option, so I'll keep it here. Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Loyalty.
forsake this planet or its people.
So again, it plays some music underneath some of the actions. Again, I don't have copyright for that. That is Robosen and Hasbro and possibly even Marvel, because I think that was from the original cartoon, so Sunbow and Marvel. So thanks to them. Apologies for it playing, but you can't stop it on the mechanism itself. I'm going to pop this down just while I go through in a little bit more close. Well, I'm not going to go through, but I'm just going to show you. So you do get quite a detailed user manual, which goes through various different elements, shows you how to charge him, walks you through ways to update the figure, way to update the software, because it does evolve. You can operate it, as you will be aware, from an app which you can download really easily onto your phone. I mean, this is a really interesting angle. You can see his arms, because you get a real sense of life with this character, with this figure, and it's so impressive. I think it's really impressive. There's an absolute ton of things to love about this figure. Is there anything to not love? Well, my concern is threefold, I think. Fold one, absolute cost. Is it value for money? To an extent it is. I think it's an amazing piece of work. I think it's phenomenal that it exists and that we're seeing others coming into existence. So I think in terms of value for money, yes, but that doesn't make it a less considered purchase. It is very expensive, and if you don't have that kind of money, it's off again. Let's see. If you don't have that kind of money, that's a bit of a challenge. And if you are, sorry, that was me just making sure that I wasn't leaning on anything too damaging. If you are somebody with a child who wants this, then that might be a really challenging conversation. In the current economic climate, mum, dad, mum, I really need this figure. I really want it for Christmas. If your heart is set on this, and you get this, it's an excellent figure, by the way. I'm not slagging it off, but it's tricky. It's tricky. Toys did not come looking like this in my day, and again, I'm not even sure it's actually a toy. I think it is a collectible, but I think it's a conversation piece. Display piece is the next item on my list. I don't know if it's a toy, and I don't know how you convince your children you can't afford it. It's a very difficult. I think it could put families in a difficult position, just from a social awareness point of view. There's a financial crisis. Here we are in 2023. There's a financial crisis globally. This is not something that I think a lot of people could rush out and purchase. I think it's yes, it's aimed at a certain market, and that's great. If you can afford it, fantastic. But I'm just really mindful of the market that would really want it, but who can't get it for all perfectly legitimate reasons. You know, it's difficult, and I'm a bit conscious of that. So I don't think there's a solution to it. I'm just mindful that I think people need to probably, well, my urge would be, it doesn't have to be something that you get if you can't afford it. Don't beat yourself up, which is easy to say if you haven't got children who are going to burst into tears that they've not got it. And this brings me to a point I made in another video around, I wish certain organisations, including Robosen, would operate a deposit and instalments payment scheme, because you know what, if they did that, I would probably pick up Grimlock in a heartbeat, because I would do a down payment and I'd pay manageable instalments. But currently they don't offer that. And I think that's a shame. I think it's a missed opportunity in the market. That's my opinion. My other concern is that he isn't very displayable. He can only hold his position whilst he's powered up, and when he's not powered up, oh, there he goes, he's just getting comfortable. You see, he does like to, he's paying attention. He knows we're here. IA is not taking over the world, folks, don't worry. No, don't worry. It's fine. But, you know, it is... you can't display it unless you get some sort of mega stand, which I think would be really cool. But I don't know where I'd get it from. But the minute you power him down, he can't stand up. He's a big floppy bunny. Same as when he's in truck mode. This guy will not hold his position. So as a display piece, he isn't, which means you have to store it somewhere. So already it's something you have to take out to, in inverted commas, play with. And is it something you would play with? I think it is more of a conversation piece. And my God, it is a conversation piece, and it's a brilliant conversation piece, and it's absolutely lovely. It's something you'd take out and show your friends. Go, look what I've got. And it is incredible, you know, without doubt. Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Who are you?
I am Optimus Prime.
I know, that's a bit silly that I did that, but you have to say those 3 words, hey Optimus Prime, to engage him, but then you can ask who he is. So I know it's just go with it. We're still, you know, another 20 years it'll be a different story. Let's try something else. Oh, I know what I was going to show you. Yeah. So this reminds me, this is the sort of third thing, is even in playability mode, in playability, from a playability perspective, there's this situation. Hey Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Move forwards.
Let's go.
Now what's good is he does stop after a little bit, but he reminds me a bit of G1 Triptychon when he walks. That's probably a bit harsh, but that's what he reminds me of. Hey Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Move left. Hey Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Move back. You see, he can't move back. Doesn't move back. Left and right. That's no problem. Oh, sorry. But yeah. So, what do we think? Do we think he's something that you would want to have on your shelf? If he is, you need to keep him in his box because he won't stay standing up. He charges very quickly, has been my experience. So that's all very good. It's very unnerving when he starts doing that. I have to be honest. It's very unnerving. I'm going to just turn him around. You can also then see what his back looks like. His back's quite good. It's very filled in, so there are no issues with his back. But I'm doing it very specifically so that I can show you there's his feet all lit up. He's still posing for you. Look, giving it some muscle back there. So I'm going to move back slightly so that I can give him the instruction you're waiting for, which is, hey Optimus Prime. Hey Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Transform. Did you hear that? That's the thing that I think is really cool. So once he transforms back into truck mode, he automatically starts his engine. And I absolutely love that. I think that's a really, really splendid addition. I can also say roll out and he'll start moving, but as I said before, he'll overshoot. Now, if you want to see the truck mode moving around, go to the Robosen website, the Hasbro website. You can see their demo videos. I'm not doing an advert for them, so I'm not, this isn't an advert for them, so I'm not going to do all of that. What I am going to say is he moves extremely well in vehicle mode, extremely well. And when you do use the app on your phone to steer him, it's brilliant. He's very responsive to it. It's really, really great. But does he belong in your collection? Well, as I've said, there are some real considerations that you need to take on board. One, the expense. I think that's the biggest. Don't commit yourself to something that you don't need if you can't afford it. It's not worth it that much. If you can afford it, great. If the world of toy collectors sent collective emails to Robosen saying, would you please make these things available on a deposit and installment credit type of thing, then maybe, just maybe, it could be so much more affordable for everybody. Am I glad I got this one over the flagship? Yes. The flagship is bigger, which is, you know, very impressive to look at, but its impressiveness wears out after a while because you...
Energon running low.
Ah, now did you hear that? I'm so glad that happened. That was him telling me Energon's running low. That means he needs to be charged, because if he doesn't, his servos will go. So that's a really clever feature they've built in. And I was kind of hoping it would happen, but you can't guarantee it. So that way you can see, and he warns you, if you're playing with him and if you're standing him up, Energon is running, he needs to charge. And that's super important, because if he's standing up and his power goes, he will faceplant, he will collapse. Fact. Because all the servos go. It's like he's fainting, but without putting his hands forward to save himself. So bear that in mind. He will not save himself. You could end up with cracks. It just doesn't bear thinking about. So when he tells you Energon is wearing low, don't do what I'm doing and keep talking.
Energon running low.
You see, he's now going to shut down, I think. No, he's just trying to trap my attention. No, he's shut down. So all of the servos will now relax. From a charging point of view, it charges here. I don't know how I open it, I can't remember. But it's very easy to charge. Why can't I open it when I want to? Oh, but you can see, actually you can see here how floppy he gets. But I'll put him on charge now. He's done it. Well done, Optimus. You've done a sterling job today. Hopefully this has given you a bit of an insight into the Robosen Elite Optimus Prime figure. I'm really glad that I have it. I do need to think about how I store it, how I deploy it. I don't have any regrets about getting it at all. Do I want Grimlock? Of course I want Grimlock. Have you seen the videos for Grimlock? Are you mad? Of course I want it. Want it now. But it's very expensive, and I cannot, with the best will in the world, justify spending over £1,000 on, not to be mean, a glorified remote control toy. I appreciate it is so much more than a glorified remote control toy, but if I'm boiling it down to having to justify the cost of living with buying a gigantic transforming robot dinosaur, you see, even when I say it, I'm still drawn towards the gigantic transforming robot dinosaur, but that's just me. I'm trying to be a responsible adult and encourage other people to be responsible too, but you know, sometimes you just can't. However, for the here and the now, I'm not giving in to that voice, and I will not be purchasing Grimlock at this stage. Do I think I might pick it up at some point? I'd be lying to you if I wasn't entertaining the idea. But at the moment, I just don't have the budget for it. If Robosen or somebody wants to send it to me to review and keep as a thank you, then obviously no strings attached without prejudice, I would happily do that. But I don't know if that will happen. So let's assume it won't. But you know, I'm open to considering it very, 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 very carefully. But yeah, make your sensible choices when purchasing. Go to a reputable distributor. I know you will, because I know you're sensible. And have fun with it. I think that's the important thing. I think if you don't have fun with it, it kind of misses the point of why you've spent the money on it. Because like any good toy, they're there to be played with. They're going to be used for fun. I get it's expensive. You don't want to damage it. I'm hyper conscious of not damaging stuff. But this, possibly more than any other things in my collection, it needs to pay for itself. Do you know what I mean? And the only way it's going to pay for itself is by me having fun with it and enjoying it and sharing it with other people. So this is the start of that. This is me sharing it with you. I hope you found it interesting. Again, apologies for variable sound quality and a bit of unsteady Steadicam work as I've tried to capture it all. I appreciate it's not ideal, but it is a hefty monster. The next few videos I'm sure will be more reasonably sized products, which I'll be able to do in my regular review station area. So sound and normal service will be resumed. Anyway, thank you for spending the last 30 or so minutes with me. I know you could have been spending it anywhere else. I hope you found my little tour around the Robosen Elite Optimus Prime interesting. If you did, please like the video as mentioned. Also drop a subscription to the channel, that would be much appreciated. It won't get me Grimlock any quicker, but I'll be very thankful if nothing else. And if one day I do get Grimlock, then at least you won't miss that video when it comes out, because I'm sure there'd be one. It just remains for me to say thank you very much for joining me for this video. I hope you come along and join me for a future video. I've been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You've been a wonderful audience, and this has been the authentic Transformers Robosen Elite Optimus Prime. And it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care, and bye-bye for now. Hey Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Roll out.
Let's roll.